And we told you about it. They were threatening all week, last week, for a strike action. And that their negotiations for so-called legacy arrears had not been paid to them or resolved. Subsequently, we had various teacher unions. So we had three main teacher unions, foremostly the Ghana National Association of Teachers, and then also we had the National Association of Graduate Teachers, and then the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Ghana. And subsequently, that strike action began. But we have to do some discussion on it, because ultimately it will mean that learning and teaching will be affected in the classroom across all public schools. Now, Thomas Musa is the General Secretary for NATS. He's right here. We pulled him into the studio to ask him some critical questions, because we were having a lot of messages from parents who were worried, etc., about what it should be. And then also teachers also kept sending us messages as to whether the strike was still on and whether they should also be in solidarity with them. So, Mr. Musa is here. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning,
and thank you for joining us in the studio. We're happy
Thank you.
that at least for all your busy schedules, you had to spend time with us.
Thank you, and good morning to your viewers. Yeah.
Okay, and also joining him is Adokwe Ayikwe. Okay, Adokwe Ayikwe Awule. Is that the name?
Yeah, Adokwe Ayikwe Awule.
Oh, Adokwe?
Yeah.
Adokwe?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so Adokwe is right here. He is the communication director for the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Ghana. Now, straight away, let's get into groove. And the strike action officially started when? Let me ask you with you, Mr. Musa.
Today.
Oh, right here.
Yes, we indicated the 5th of December 2019 that it starts effective December 9th, 2019. So it is today. Yeah.
And you've communicated that throughout?
That has been done.
You think your membership are in solidarity?
Certainly.
Some of them will not go to class?
It's for all teachers across the country and for all the 3 teacher unions. Yes, and together we declared the strike. So it's for all teachers in Ghana to ensure that what is due with the teacher is given to the teacher. That is all we are saying.
Okay. The Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana, what's your composition or membership?
Membership, 27,000 plus. I think NAT has the largest membership. They've been there for long. I think we are almost 200,000, I think. Yeah. Then NAGRAT also comes in with over 40,000.
Wow. So we have three main groups.
Yeah.
Okay. But what's your main grievance for this? Why are we having a strike action?
Yeah, thank you very much. It must first and foremost be established that teachers, and to that extent, the union leaders, we are patriotic, we love this country, and we will do everything to protect the interest of Ghana, and particularly the children we teach. Given the action that, or given the issues that have brought us to this particular position, has to do with the fact that as far back as 2012, there were monies that were supposed to be paid to teachers. But government felt that, or our employer, let me use that word, our employer felt that the money was huge, and the figures involved also, that the number of people that were supposed to be paid also huge. And so the 3 months of the salaries we paid. So by that arrangement, the policy was put in place that 3 months of the salaries will be paid, and so that the understanding ones will be investigated. The teacher unions accepted it. And so we sent messages around that our teachers should ensure that they submit their data so that it will be verified. And the teachers did so. All these documents went to the audit service to ensure that no teacher who brings in a document which is not valid should be paid. It means that the moment the audit service clears your document, you mean that your money and your document you have brought is valid. So the audit service that has done its work. We went to the Controller and Accountant General's Department and to the Ghana Education Service. And let me also put on record that some of the monies have been paid. It must be put on record. So when the final one got to the Ghana Education Service, the Ghana Education Service raised red flag, saying that upon cross-examination of the figures that controller brought to them, they have identified some challenges. Number one has to do with the fact that some were put on ranks that they were not supposed to be, and teachers have also been put on ranks that they were not supposed to be, among other challenges. And so the teacher unions met them and told them, no problem, we will not compromise on these things. So what we recommended to them was like, isolate all the figures or all the names that you have problems with, isolate them, and pay those that the audit service is saying is okay. That one too has not been done.
Okay. But let me ask the questions. The period of the so-called 3 months policy payment, that will be from
2012
to
till date.
Okay.
But the legacy arrears was created from 2012 to 2016.
Okay.
But you could see that from 2017, we came to an agreement with the new government that there is the need for processes to go through so quickly to ensure that teachers who are newly employed will be paid
on time.
On time. It shouldn't go beyond 3 months.
Okay, so at least by the second, third month, you should get
your money. So at the end of the day, we'll not be creating... So you
get your salary with maybe a 2 or 3 months arrears?
Yes, so that we'll not be creating more arrears.
Okay, so that was from 2017?
That is from 2017, where we agreed that the moment you are promoted or the moment you are employed, it could even be online. I mean, all these, we can go through all discussions.
That 2012 to 2016, we have outstandings of teachers who had been integrated into the service, put on payroll, it's been accepted.
Yes.
But they were only paid for each year that there were outstandings, 3 month salaries.
Yes.
And so we're left with 9 months for each of the years.
Yes.
Averagely, some of them had been paid.
Some of them have been paid.
Full.
Yes.
Full.
Yeah.
But there were some outstandings.
Definitely.
Okay. As teacher unions or pressure groups, do you know the outstandings? Who answered that question? You?
Okay, let me come in. You see, let me make a correction. You indicated that per the number of years, the teacher has served, you are given 3 months. Normally,
no. I'm saying that for each year you are giving just 3 months.
No, it's not for each year.
It's not for each year.
So no, okay. So I want to get this.
So the thing is,
wait, let me do this. So if you served for 3 years, your salaries were outstanding for each of those years. You were paid 3 months for each of the 3 years.
No, you are giving only 3 months. So it doesn't matter the number of months you have outstanding, whether it is 12 months, 24 months. Everybody was supposed to be given 3 months. And then all your outstanding that you are claiming, you were asked, or the teachers were asked to bring documents to justify why the 12 months or the outstanding 24 months or 36 months must be paid. So that is what led to that.
Okay.
Now, coming to the figures, per the figures we have, the extrapolation that we have done.
Who did the extrapolation?
The teacher unions.
Okay. What was the principal figure?
No, we are talking here about 120,000.
120, the initial figure.
Exactly. And per what the Ghana Education Service has done, we have a lot of difficulty with the data they put out because it contradicts what the audit service has done.
Wait.
Good.
So the audit service says the figures are how many? When they did the verification or they collected the data, they reconciled, what was the figure they gave you?
It was around the figure that the Ghana Education Service is putting out.
That is the 120,000.
Yes, it was around that figure. And see, and based upon the calculation that the Ghana Education Service has done, saying that they have paid, they are left with 1,000 plans to pay.
Yeah, because according to the communication that I've cited, the Ghana Education Service says about 95% of that 120,000 have had their arrears paid.
No.
Can you verify that?
No, 95% of 120,000 will not give you about 1,008. You will not be left with 1,800. So per what they've put out, if really they paid 95%, the 5% will not be 1,800. Definitely it will be more. But we have a difficulty here.
Why?
About getting the correct data, either from GES, Controller and Accountant General, or the Audit Service. They always contradict.
The two institutions contradict themselves.
That is it.
Have you yourselves as unions independently verified from at least your membership individually as organizations?
We've done it several, and I know Nat did it. There was a time.
I'm talking about you.
They called. We've also done it.
Okay.
Where we
so
where
you
we
say you
give
have a
them
membership of around excess of
27,000.
Have you tried to collect data from them, and then what figure do you have?
We've had different data, because at the end of the day, you collect the data this month, and maybe this month some of them will be paid. So definitely what you have will not be the exact figure. So you have to, if not, then every month we should be calling for data. Okay. But we've done it severally just to have a fair idea
of whether they are still backlog of a chunk
of them,
or huge numbers.
Yes,
that's what you're saying.
Yes.
So you did same too. Yeah. You have in excess. How many in your membership?
Thank you very much. You know something? When the whole thing started, it became necessary that if an individual institution should do its own analysis, will create a problem, because we may not have the same, we may not be able to agree. So the understanding was that the audit service should come on board, bring somebody from finance and from the other, all the stakeholders, and the teacher unions were represented. So we met in a conference kind of meeting
in the dialogue
for months. So it wasn't like one institution going to do its own investigation.
So you agree for the audit service to be your principal institution from which you can have verified data?
Yes, at a point where we have all met in a place, the teacher union, the 3 teacher unions were represented.
Which year was this?
That is far back. That's what I was saying. From 2012, yes. We started doing this. You see, the documents were such that you cannot do it at a sitting. So you do it. Sometimes we meet for about 2-3 weeks. We have to suspend sitting. You go, you come back because of the volumes of documents that come. And so we decided that let us all do it together, so that when we agree that look, this we have 120,000, we can then work. Yes, we can then work towards it. So that after if all these stakeholders have come together and we have worked and we have agreed that look, these are the figures that we are dealing with, and audit service based upon the kind of work that we have done, audit service has also given its verdict to controller, and controller finally bring it to the Ghana Education Service. And for only Ghana Education Service raising red flags on some of them, and we are saying that if that be the case, isolate those ones and pay that one to there is a problem, and that is where our difficulty is. So where we are now creates the impression, or gives us the impression that look, GES is disputing the figures or the work done by the audit service. So as it stands now, it means that GES has its own figures. Controller has a controller and audit.
Have you gone to a controller lately? When was the last time controller did reconciliation of these figures?
Exactly. So about 2 weeks ago, when we met them, they told us they wanted to do a presentation, and we told them that we've had enough. We've had enough of.
When was the last time before last week they did the presentation to you?
No, they were about to do the presentation because they came to us that the Ghana Education Service, when controller handed over the data to a GES was saying that they have found some figures that they are not satisfied with, and that they must do another test run.
And the Auditor General Department's figures were the 120,000 you're talking about.
But that is what I mean. Per where we sit now, that is what we are aware of. If it has changed, I cannot speak to that. But that's what we are aware of for now.
Why?
But you know, I want to chip in something.
As coalition, why are you disputing the GES own position that it has paid about 95% of the teachers who are having outstandings, whether for legacy or from 2017?
If we should go through the figures that they have stated there, they themselves said it was left with about 32,000. Out of the 120,000, they paid about 87,000 or so. It's left with about that. And that one cannot be 95%. And where they even stated it is left with 1,800. If you have paid 95%, 5% is not 1,800. Now, let us also go through the problems that they have stated about people receiving monies that they are not supposed to receive. If really what Ghana Education Service is stating is true.
Now, to the point where the Ghana Education Service, now as the administrative body for education in Ghana, and actually your employer, is ultimately disputing your position and declaring your strike as illegal, that is problematic.
Yeah, thank you, Roland. It is not GES, our employer, it is not only disputing the position of the teacher unions, and in fact, GES is disputing the work done by the audit service. Is disputing the work done by Controller and Accountant General's Department, and is also disputing the work done by the teacher unions. 3 bodies against 1. So it is not about the teacher unions. You see, if teacher unions had done the work alone, but here the work was done together with stakeholders, including the GES. When the audit was going on, they were there. They had a rep there. Now finally you turn back to tell us that you have seen these things. The question is, how can we believe this? How come audit service didn't see it? How come controller didn't see it? Now you are asking for a test run. And Roland, you know something? We are talking about 7 good years. And I repeat, 7 good years. The teachers always will go to the education service, go the district education offices, go to the regional education offices, go to the GES headquarters and ask, where is the money? When will I get my money? And aside that, the things that they could have used the money to do in 2012, they can't use it to do. That money, the value of the money is nothing to write home about today. So for how long will that money wait? We are saying that enough is enough, and that the teachers, the money that are due the teachers must be paid. And that all the figures or the names that the GES has problem with, GES should isolate those names and pay those that they control, those that do not have problems with them. That's what we are saying.
I have a story that's indicating, published just 2 days ago on Ghana Web, quoting the Minister of Education.
Yeah.
And it says, the teacher unions are being influenced by the opposition NDC.
You see, I have read that story. I have a problem when I see such statement from the Minister of Education.
What do you mean? What do you have a problem?
Now, if you are a Minister of Education with deputies, and you have a government machinery, and you allow us, in quote, to be influenced by NDC, then it means you cannot handle your ministry. You should hand over to NDC.
I don't understand you.
If really we are being influenced by NDC, we want our money. You have the money. And you are saying that in all of this, we know it was the previous government that created these legacy arrears. And you expect those same people to influence us to go on strike because of arrears that they have created. You see, we are not stooges. And when they were in opposition, I don't think they were influencing us to take the actions that we were taking. We were taking those actions in the best interest of our members.
What actions were you taking? I can't recall.
Oh, but in those days, we go on strike. We do all these things. We even went on demonstrations. We did all this. I think we've been very, very fair with this government. We've been very, very, very fair with this government. The whole of 2017, we were quiet with them. We never said anything about arrears being paid. We even have to write to them to come to the table, to sit down with us so that we'll look to and pay the arrears. That is what we did. So the whole of 2017, no arrears was paid because it was a new government. We think we have to give them time. They have to know all that we have done so that at the end of the day, together, all these things will be paid. And then you turn around. Yes. I'm talking about 2017. So we've been fair with them. The minister, I think I will call for an apology from the minister.
I don't understand. You want the Minister of Education
to
apologize to
the teacher union for making that statement. It is an insult to the leadership of the teacher unions.
What do you mean, a whole Minister of Education?
But the whole Minister of Education making that statement? A whole Minister of Education making such a statement?
Yes.
But at the end of the day, we have to move forward from the discussions. Yeah. Look, it's only dialogue. If you look
let me make a small comment on the statement of the being attributed to the minister and the Honorable Minister in charge of Education. In fact, we always sit at table to discuss issues. And at the end of the day, this thing we'll discuss. In fact, the teacher unions, we are reluctant in engaging in a banter and all that, but it must be put on record that nobody, and it is not true, that the teacher unions are being influenced by somebody. Number two, the last time I checked, the laws of Ghana, in fact this morning, the last time I checked was this morning, the laws of Ghana had not changed. That he who alleges proves, because our law follows the accusatorial principle. So if he has any evidence to the effect that somebody is influencing us to do these things, I think the state apparatus are with them, so they can certainly do something. But we will not engage the minister in a banter or challenge him or all those things. We wish him well, we will show him respect and all that. But so when it comes to such matters, I think that we must be circumspect in the way we go by making such allegations against parties that will always sit at the table. Yeah.
The Ghana Education Service says that, well, some of the listed personnel were not owed any salary arrears for those who had been paid, and yet had been credited with some huge sums of money. And in some cases, some of the monies were huge. Some were even paid allowances that were attributed or would have been paid to watchmen or security, etc.
Given to a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Roland.
Okay, it was only one isolated person.
Yes, they told us that the person in question is working at the Ghana Education Service headquarters. That's what we were even told.
So it's not as if the person is a field staff.
No, you know something. You see, that's the difficulty, teacher. That's the difficulty we are having now.
Yeah.
In 2012, when the whole thing started, teachers submitted documents. And these were documents that were validated by controller, by the audit service. So that if audit service has validated some number of teachers to be paid, how can then the number change to individuals who do not, who we can say that the state doesn't owe them?
Well, you do reconciliation.
That is the difficulty we have. People who claim that they have monies to be paid to them by the state or by our employer were asked to submit document. So if an individual or somebody has not submitted his or her document to the audit service, how come that person found his or her name on the list?
On the list.
It means that somebody must be held accountable.
Yes. As in somebody is doing kululu.
I have not said that.
Okay. Let's go on to the phone lines. We have Mr. Ecole Vincent Asefwa. He is Director of Communications, the Minister of Education. Good morning to you, Mr. Asefwa.
Roland, good
Yes,
morning.
sir.
How are you?
Yeah, good morning. Now, what's the position of the ministry on the strike action by the unionized organizations of teachers?
Well, let me say a very good morning to you and to your cherished viewers. In simple terms, I would want to say that the strike action that has been declared by the three teacher unions lacks basis. It is baseless. There is no substance to whatever they are saying. It is a breach of their own principles of good faith, and they have failed again to also convince their own followers as to why they are calling for the strike. Because today, if you move around most of the schools, most of the teachers are already going to school, because you can't assume to call for a strike for over 300,000 teachers who, when you do the simple mathematics, will tell you that just about 30,000 of those 300 teachers are old. The point is that, Roland, from 2012 to 2016, government owed teachers, or if you like, workers of the GES, about 120,000 of them. Put differently, government has agreed, or government is aware, that there are about 120,000 of workers or teachers in the GES who are old. However, out of the 120,000, government has been able to pay almost 90,000. And from September 2017, or let me say from January 2017 to September 2019, if government have shown that commitment, have shown that good faith, and have been able to pay 90,000 out of the 120,000. On what logical basis are you calling for a strike to include all those who have paid and tell them that they should stay home? Because on the 9th of November, when we met the teacher unions, we indicated to them that, yes, in the process of paying, we have detected some anomalies where you find a female teacher who has been allocated a slot of a night watchman who is supposed to be paid. Absolutely illogical. And it goes to affirm our earlier position that indeed the data that was submitted to the Ghana Education Service would have to be vetted. Again, you could see the discrepancy in the ranks that were used in paying, or that the Controller and Accountant General Department used in submitting the data to the Ghana Education Service, because you can't have a principal superintendent who is paid salaries or arrears based on a rank of a deputy director or a director. So ab initio, it tells you that some house cleaning will have to be done as far as this data is concerned. So on the 2nd of December, just last week Monday, we met with the leadership and we indicated to them that this is the problem that we have. If we are not able to do it, what it means is that the state or the nation is going to lose about 11 million Ghana cedis for lack of due diligence on the data that has been submitted by the Controller and Accountant General Department. And in the same meeting, there was a consensus. Both the teacher unions and the Ghana Education Service agreed that the data will have to be vetted, because we have been able to show evidence of how the data that was given to the management of GES was showing some amount of discrepancies. And again, in that same meeting, it was agreed that by the end of the year latest, or let me say by Christmas, we are going to pay these arrears to them. It only came to us as a surprise when the dates that they themselves signed onto, or they themselves agreed that we are supposed to be paying the rest of the arrears or salaries that we owe them, only for us to see them on Thursday calling for a strike, especially when their own followers was not even aware, because it was even after the press conference that they declared the strike that they had to go back to inform their followers that they have called for a strike. And so the point really is, who calls for a strike for a smaller number of a group of people who are affected because of a decision of a particular administration? That same union has failed to lambast or chastise that particular administration for bringing about a certain 3-month policy that sought to erase most of the arrears that were supposed to be paid. And because that time, from 2012 to 2016, a teacher who was owed 2 years was just told that he is going to be paying 3 months. Any other payment or arrears that are supposed to be paid had to go through some auditing and verification before you could be paid. Indeed, most of the recruitment that happened around that time also was a breach to the procedural processes in recruiting into the Ghana Education Service, because you just cannot recruit without a financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance. So we had every opportunity and we had every right under the circumstances to have terminated employment or recruitment of some GES staff from 2012 to 2016. And because why do you recruit or employ people without financial clearance from the Ministry of Finance? Only for you to bring about a certain 3-month pay policy for a poor teacher who, by no fault of his or her,
Mr. Sefa? Mr. Sefa? Oh, we seem to have lost him on the line. Was there an agreement? Are you still on the line, Mr. Sefa?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So do I get the understanding that the position of the ministry, that the declaration of strike by the unions lacked basis because 30,000 out of the estimation is an only figure for you. It's a small number. So that is the position. It lacks basis.
Well, Roland, for the time that I've worked with the Ministry of Education, this seemed to be the most unreasonable strike that I've ever seen to have declared by any union or anybody with the Ghana Education Service or the Ministry of Education. The motivation itself to have declared the strike is not in the content or the substance that I saw on Thursday. The motivation probably is coming from somewhere that you and I cannot verify. Because if you check social media, if you check the schools today, clearly most of the teachers are not in agreement with the strike that has been declared.
What do you think is the motivation for or as you could verify or speculate? What do you think is the motivation then? If it's not due to the grievances on the table within the period when you had been dialoguing?
Well, Roland, if the motivation is not found on the paper, it's not found on the claims that you are making, where will the motivation be coming from then? So the motivation is certainly not coming from the substance of the strike that has been declared.
And you are saying that the motivation is not around the discussions because you had given them ample time to pay and they had agreed?
Roland, where is the motivation, or where could the motivation be if we owe 120,000 teachers by no fault of ours as an administration from 2017 till now? And out of the 120,000, this particular administration has been able to put some humanitarian face or grounds to it. To go ahead, convince the Ministry of Finance to allocate funds to be able to pay.
That is why I'm asking you, do you think 30,000 is just a figure? No, so once you have made commitment to 90,000, 30,000 or even just a little less.
No, Roland, yes, why do you call for a strike for an entire population of about 300,000 when out of the 300,000, hold on, Roland, when out of the 300,000, 270,000 of them are not owed. They don't have any grievance at all. But the 30,000 with a grievance, you have called for a strike to affect the entire population of the 300,000. Where is the reasoning?
But if we have to just suppose, let's say we have a population of 30 million, but yes, we only have a small number that is infected with HIV. Why should we not do a communication to make sure we reduce incidence of infection? I mean, it goes that way. Is that not?
I don't think this example works.
But okay.
This is just a scenario that works.
Okay.
This is a scenario. This is a scenario that borders on the importance or the learning outcomes that we so much desire to see from our classrooms. Teachers are supposed to be in classrooms. Students who go to classroom expect that teachers are in their classrooms. A teacher who is not owned by the Ghana Education Service have no basis, have no reason at all to stay out of classroom. And so the point I'm making is that the rest of the 270,000 who are not owned by the Ghana Education Service should be in classroom.
Okay,
or they themselves have elected to be in the classroom because they feel that it is not reasonable for them to stay out of classroom when they have no qualms with the Ghana Education Service or the Ministry of Education. And because I've already indicated to you that quite a number of them have already shown some amount of a breach in their principles of good faith, because you don't call for this strike without carrying your followers around.
Yeah, you are saying that the numbers are small. The numbers that are owed outstandings, or you have that have problems with their data, etc., and so their salaries outstandings have not been paid yet, are small compared to the larger.
Not a single issue, just conglomerate of issues that are coming together.
All right.
To really that the strike is not a strike that is reasonable to
Okay.
call.
When did you hope, as ministry, the employer, Ghana Education Service, hope that you would have finished with the reconciliation and all that, and then the 30,000, whether they are isolated within the numbers, could be paid the outstandings? When did you give them? Which date? Yes, sir.
I've already indicated to you that the 2nd December meeting addressed this your question. The 2nd December meeting was concluded on the basis that the data will have to be vetted as soon as possible. We hope that by the end of this week, we would have finished. Then we go ahead to pay them by Christmas. So that is the more reason why I find it so difficult to understand why you meet the Ghana Education Service on 2nd of December and call for a strike on the 5th of December.
Point made. You've given a justifiable reason now. Please just hold on for me. I have the officials in the studio. And Mr. Musa, a meeting was convened just last week, December 2.
Yeah, I think please let's put the things in perspective. Number one, our brother has made some serious allegations about the issue of motivation.
It says based on the discussions.
I'm coming.
And the consensus you have between the parties.
No, see, earlier on this particular platform, we indicated that we will treat the minister with courtesy and with respect. The issue of banter and all those things, at the end of the day, could be treated when we meet on the table to discuss all these things. And we also put on record that the teacher unions have not been influenced by anybody. They took their own decisions in consultation with the leadership of the membership, and that is what we are doing. And that it is an independent decision of the teacher unions without any influence from anybody. That must be placed on record.
But he also indicates that your membership is not going along with you.
That he's entitled to his opinion. That's also we will not go into those areas. Our focus is that at the end of the day, the monies due our members should be paid. Then let me now come to the issue of the faith matter. It must be placed on record. Before 5th December, we met a week earlier. Before 5th December, we met.
29th November.
Thank you very much. 29th November, we met. And when we met, that meeting was chaired by the Deputy Minister for Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations. And at that meeting, Controller was there, Ministry of Finance, Audit Service, and Education Service, among other stakeholders. They wanted to do a presentation. And we asked, what kind of presentation at this material moment? Because the understanding we had with them was that the money will be paid by the close of November. He wasn't there. And so at that meeting, when they wanted to do the presentation, they came to us with a message that they have detected some challenges, and based upon that, it will be difficult for them to fulfill that particular promise.
But that's the reason.
I'm coming. So when they said that we had difficulty with it, we told them that this message should have come to us earlier. But we don't invite us to come, then suddenly you present this message to us. And we told them that if you are claiming that some people have been paid money that they don't deserve, that is up to you to solve. And so we left that meeting. The moment we walked out from that meeting, and we issued a statement. That's the first one. Then the December 2nd meeting he was talking about, we specifically went there to solve the National Teaching Council problem.
It's not GS.
It was not about this particular issue. The National Teaching Council had wanted to fix fees concerning the licensing. And the teacher unions, we have issued a statement, now we disagree. So that was what we went there for. And when we finished settling that particular matter, this thing came up. And we reiterated what we told the meeting at Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, that look, we said at the meeting that if the GES has problem with people who do not deserve such monies, isolate those names and pay the rest. So how can we go to a meeting and say that the 30,000 people that have invested, all of them, their money should not be paid? How can we do that? We reiterated what we told them, what we said on November 9th, 2019. We said it there, that isolate the names. If out of 30,000...
But they will need time.
No, please.
A little time.
No,
Is that not why they said...
Roland, I'm coming.
Is that not why they said Christmas?
Roland, I'm coming. You have 30,000 people. Okay? These are names that the audit service validated, came to controller to GES. If you have out of the 30,000, you have problem with 1,000, isolate the 1,000. Let the 29,000 go. That's what we are saying. Why should you hold all of them together and say that you want to go do it again? Then when that, you see, if you allow this thing to stand, it will mean that what kind of work did the audit service do? What kind of work did the controller do? And then to GES. That's what we are saying. So it is not true. It is not true that we went and agreed. That meeting was not called to discuss this issue, and it must be placed on record. We went there to discuss the National Teaching Council the licensing fees. That was the invitation that said that led us to that particular meeting. Yeah.
Mr. Asefa.
Roland.
Yeah, you heard them, right? Your reaction to Mr. Musa of NAT.
I didn't hear almost everything.
Okay. Okay.
But if you can raise them so that we can address it, I would be very glad.
Please raise them for him, so please. It doesn't come from me.
So, number one.
Yeah.
We are saying the meeting he made reference to. The meeting was at the instance of the National Teaching Council, because they wanted to fix how much teachers should pay for their licensing. There had been a publication attributed to the executive secretary saying that teachers should pay 200.
But did you discuss this matter?
Yes, that was the issue we discussed at the table. When we finished, then the Director General said, "Oh, they heard that we went to," and I said, "Yes, we were there." And they said we needed also to listen to them. And they also brought out the challenges, but they reiterated the challenges that the GES rep said at the meeting. That's the November 29th. He said the same thing. And when they repeated those things, we also repeated the things we told them at that meeting, that isolate the people. Okay, isolate the people, the names that you have problems with, and let the rest go. Those were the things we told them there. So how come that we have engaged in bad faith? Where is the bad faith in this?
Did they tell you that by Christmas they'll pay you? They'll pay the...
They even promised to bring a write-up.
No. Okay.
At that same meeting, after they have...
But did they at any point in time say that by Christmas they would have done the reconciliation?
We didn't come to any agreement. We insisted that we've given them up to 5th of December. And they said, "Oh, we should hold on," but they will even bring us... They will respond to whatever we have said formally in a write-up. So where is that letter? We didn't come to any agreement there. There wasn't any agreement. You see, sometimes I don't think those.
Okay, wait, Mr. Asefa,
you let them.
Did you hear him?
Roland.
Yes, sir.
Number one, I'm asking this very simple question. The meeting that he said was not called at the instance of the Ghana Education Service necessarily to deal with the issue, but rather was at the instance of the NTC. I'm asking that was these issues of arrears or legacy arrears raised in that meeting? That's the question I'm asking.
He said yes.
That is very germane to the discussion.
Yes.
He said yes, yes.
Absolutely. So what is he talking about?
But there was no agreement.
The fact that the meeting was not called at the instance of the management of...
He said there was no consensus or agreement.
See, that cannot be true. In law, when we say consensus or agreement, you don't necessarily have to call for a document. When you are done with your meeting, the minute alone can be something that you can use as an agreement. But
the other party, did the other party agree to your proposals as employers?
That was there a commentary from your side that indeed the data will have to be better?
Was there, Mr.
You see, Exactly.
No, simple question. What's
So
there?
what's the point?
No, please.
What's the point?
No, I'm asking you, what's there? Mr. Asefa, hold on.
Please, no,
What's there?
See, no, it must be clarified.
Was there did you make any commentary to the effect that you would want the reconciliation to be done?
No, you see, the question you are asking me, if I say yes, please, if you say you cannot, you see, we cannot answer yes to this. You have 30,000, and we said that the numbers they have problems with, isolate those numbers.
And verify them.
So that's your position.
all.
So that's what they said. Mr. Asefa, that was their response.
If you claim you have problems with some number, verify them.
So clearly, they themselves on this platform have indicated, whether in a subtle manner or in a very brief manner, that indeed there was a commentary from their side where they said that the data will have to be vetted. That is enough. Again,
no, please.
The rest must be paid.
You want to host the program? Okay, so what they said was that go ahead and do the reconciliation and pay the rest. Yes.
That's the point I'm coming to.
So it's not as if that they agreed. They said, well, fine. We've taken note of your concerns, but go ahead.
On the 9th of November, Controller and Accountant General Department, out of the 30,000 that is left, submitted 1,847 of those people to be paid. And in the 1,847, we detected anomalies of over about 500. So on what basis can you tell me that if 1,847 are having anomalies that have been detected, then we are not going to detect anomalies in the rest of the 29,000 and over?
How did you come to that conclusion? Is it by extrapolation or?
See, this is logical reason. A implies B. Out of 30,000.
Oh my God.
You have given me a data of 1,847. I have not yet vetted the over 29,000. Now, the 1,847 suggests that there are anomalies that we have detected in that 1,847. I can only conclude that going ahead to pay the rest of the 29,000 without going through the verification processes that they audited might be suicidal, because the 1,847 alone is going to cost this nation about 11 million Ghana cedis that are not supposed to be paid to the beneficiary.
But you can't conclude that. But you can't conclude that because you haven't done the verification or so-called reconciliation. Because now you are just doing extrapolations.
No, there is a need to do the verification for the rest of the 29,000. That's the point you are making. That we can't just go ahead and pay without doing the verifications, without doing the vetting, because the 1,800 that was given to us suggests, or there's enough evidence to show that indeed there are some female teachers who are paid 9 months arrears. You get the point. So why or how do anybody convince me that in a population of 30,000, I have been given 1,847 to work on? Now, when I worked on 1,847, I have received or have seen anomalies of about 500 in 1,847. How am I able to be convinced that with the rest of the 29,000, I won't see anomalies? Are they able to convince us? Are they not thinking about the nation's pest? Are they thinking about themselves alone? If the 1,847, we have not seen any anomaly, their claim or their call will have been justified 100%. But we can't just go ahead and pay without necessarily doing the due diligence and ensure that we safeguard the nation's pest. And because 1,847 alone is going to cost this nation 11 million. How much more 29,000?
Well, since you are with the Ministry of Education and close to the minister, it means that at least you have to bring the teacher unions back to the table.
Well, unfortunately, I am doubting their willingness and their good faith in this instance, because they met the Ministry of Labour and...
Is that your position or the ministry's position?
You see, Roland, we can only resolve these matters when we sit at a round table and have a discussion that each of the participants of this discussion... And
I'm asking, when are we going to have the next discussion?
Hold on. A discussion that both of us come to the table with good faith. You went into a meeting with the Ministry of Employment and Labour, walked out of that meeting without any consensus. You have met the GES on 2nd December. You have come to deny the very things that you yourself agreed on, whether subtle or in a brave manner. Now, when we asked you on this platform, you indicated that, yes, indeed, you wanted the vetting to go ahead. We have shown our commitment to engage the teacher unions. In fact, they are a great stakeholder in the management of the Ghana Education Service in this country. And the only way for us to deal with this matter is to sit at the table and...
So when will that sitting take place?
I didn't get that, Roland.
When will that sitting take place? Because now you have conceded that it's only through dialogue that this could be resolved.
We are ever ready.
Okay.
Have they gone through the proper processes in declaring the strike? Is the Labour Commission aware? Have they given approval for them to go for the strike? Is their strike not even illegal? These are relevant questions that we should be asking the teacher union.
Because if the ministry's position is that their strike is illegal, it's got consequences, has it not?
Well, the declaration is not coming from Ministry of Education. The declaration is coming from the letter and the spirit of the law, that a declaration of every strike in this country will have to be in collaboration.
I'm making reference to the law, I mean, the Labour Act, yes.
Yes,
and I'm saying that, does it mean as the employer, the Ghana...
Is the Labour Commission aware of this? I mean, this strike that they are calling for, have they gone through the proper procedures to call for this strike? If they haven't, is it not illegal? Well, I'm not a court to declare what is illegal and what is not. But the letter and the spirit of the law is what I'm telling you.
Okay. Your response. Thank you, Echo Asefa. Vincent Echo Asefa is the Director of Communications at the Ministry of Education, helping us clarify government's position on the subject. But we also do know that beyond government is the administrative body, the Ghana Education Service being the employer.
Yeah. Roland, thank you very much. The teacher unions have been very consistent. Number one, we have said that out of the 30,000 plus teachers, those names that have challenge, or the GS has had challenges with, they should isolate those names, and the remaining 29,000 plus should be paid. We have also indicated here that come what may, this thing we need to sit together and discuss and get it solved. Number two, we want to it must be put on record that the teacher unions took their own independent decision together with their leadership. And that is how come we are here at this particular time. And that we have not done this thing in consultation with anybody except our own, the leadership and our membership. And that we want to believe that we have the mandate of our people and they are behind us to get this thing done.
Now, what I will say is that, first of all, there's no need of chastising the previous regime. We are dealing with government. And then again, if you have 120,000 and all these while over 80,000 have been paid and it is left with 30,000, and all of a sudden we have to verify the 30,000 again, it means there's a problem, because it is an indictment on GES themselves, Ministry of Finance, Audit Service, and Controller and Accountant General. Again, let's all wait and see. We know definitely, even if one person is owed arrears or one person is aggrieved, we can call for a strike because of just a single person. How much more over 30,000? So we know we are legally right. As to going through the Labour Commission, we have gone through those processes several times. We have gone through those processes several times, so there is no need. So let us wait. We are waiting for the money. If the money hits the account today, we'll call off the strike. But we have also opened our doors. If they call for any meeting, we are ready to go.
All right. So the strike action is still on, even though he also says that we have a number of teachers.
That is his own. That is opinion.
All right.
It's starting today. And finally, please, we are focused, and we encourage our members to be focused. The issue is that the 30,000 plus, their monies must be paid to them. We are focused. We will not engage in any banter with anybody. No. The thing is that money should hit the accounts of teachers. That is our demand. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Thomas Musa, thank you very much. General Secretary, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, and they, alongside the Coalition of Concerned Teachers Ghana, they are also in this. And Mr. Adokwe helping us do the discussions as well, and thank you very much as well. And the other teacher grouping is NAGRAT. That will be the National Association of Graduate Teachers. And thank you, gentlemen, for helping me. But I have a couple of your comments. Let me just run through one or two, and then I'll take a break and look at the next subject. Good morning, Roland. Francis Tamale, who says he's a teacher, asked him, and he verified that. So he says the teacher strike is legitimate and the right call. Promotion arrears for last year, for example, are still outstanding. No promotion letters. GES is ungrateful to teachers and those that are not working, and those who are working, he says. And then it says all arrears owed between 2012 and 2016 have not been paid. And the whole of teachers who completed teacher training colleges between 2014 and 2015 have also not been paid their salary arrears. And this gentleman also says he's a teacher. I have this one from Stephen from Kwabeng. He says, good morning, Roland. In fact, I'm disappointed in the GES PRO. And teachers have been taken for granted for too long. We will strike till the defenders are tired. He adds that I'm a teacher. Okay, so those will be some of the comments so far. We'll follow this. We'll verify whether some of the teachers are teaching contrary to the directive from their parent association not to go back to the classrooms as the strike begins today. But we'll let you know what happens in the classrooms. But in the meantime, please make sure you send out more of your messages. Get interactive. Facebook, JoyNews on TV. Let us also know what you're thinking through our Twitter handle at JoyNews on TV. Right now, we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll also tell you about related concerns being expressed about upward adjustment of fuel prices. Already, we're getting the numbers at the pumps that it's now 5 cedis, 41 pesos per litre. And it used to be 5 cedis, 36 pesos as it is. So we hear from COPEC, we hear from the oil marketing companies and relevant institutional stakeholders. Stay with us. We'll be right back with all these.